They tried everything to kill these firearms: corporate mismanagement, legal headaches, cheap overseas clones, even full-on bankruptcy. But you can't bury a legend. These 8 guns disappeared from shelves, got written off as obsolete, and nearly vanished from memory until shooters stepped in and pulled them back into the spotlight. Today, they're hotter than ever. If you thought classic hardware was dead, think again. These are the guns that refuse to die. Number 1. M1 Carbine. This is the rifle that just won't fade away. The M1 Carbine wasn't supposed to stick around. It was born out of necessity during the Second World War. Lightweight, fast handling, and compact enough to carry across rough terrain. Soldiers who didn't need the full-size M1 Garand, think radiomen, lieutenants, airborne troops, carried this little rifle through Europe, Korea, and even the jungles of Vietnam. Sure, it didn't hit like a 30-06, and it didn't reach out like a proper battle rifle, but it made up for it with maneuverability and ease of use. After the fighting stopped, the carbine faded into obscurity. Military surplus dried up. The tactical world moved on to AR platforms. Collectors hoarded what was left. The rest were stashed in closets and forgotten. But then the gun world started taking another look. Lightweight, minimal recoil, plenty of capacity. Sound familiar? Suddenly, the M1 Carbine wasn't a relic, it was relevant. Especially now that companies like Auto Ordnance are producing faithful reproductions. Same balance, same soul, just fresh off the assembly line. No, it's not your go-to for long-range work, and it won't replace your modern defensive rifle, but for plinking at the range, riding behind the seat of a truck, or just holding a piece of American history, the M1 Carbine is back and here to stay. Number 2. Ithaca Model 37. Silent, reliable, and absolutely unforgiving. The Ithaca Model 37 is a workhorse that doesn't ask for praise, it just delivers. This pump-action shotgun has been putting in work since the late 1930s, and while newer designs come and go with tactical gimmicks and plastic add-ons, the Model 37 just keeps running. Its claim to fame is the bottom ejection. Spent shells drop straight down, no brass flying across your field of view, no debris choking the action. For left-handed shooters, it's a dream. For everyone else, it's a sleek and intuitive setup. This gun went to war, literally. U.S. Navy SEALs carried it through house-to-house fighting in Vietnam. The early models could slam fire, hold the trigger, and just pump until the threat is down. That feature was eventually removed, but the heart of the shotgun never changed. The company changed ownership. Production paused. It even had a brief name swap. None of that mattered. Shooters never forgot it. The current production Model 37s are still all American, still built with steel and walnut, and still capable of outlasting shotguns twice the price. No plastic stock, no cheap triggers, just a solid action, a smooth stroke, and a reputation that stood strong for nearly a century. Number 3. Ruger Security 6. This revolver is pure muscle, built like a tank and tuned to perform. Before striker-fired pistols took over, before polymer was the standard, there was the Ruger Security 6, chambered in .357 Magnum. Ruger rolled this out in the 1970s as a dependable, no-nonsense sidearm. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't fancy. It was built to fight. Law enforcement, corrections officers, and armed citizens carried these because they could take a beating. You could toss it on pavement, run it filthy, and it'd keep punching. Unlike some other revolvers, it had no side plates to work loose. The frame was solid. Internals were simple. Everything about it said, this is a gun built to survive real-world abuse. Eventually, Ruger phased it out in favor of the GP100, but the Security 6 never lost its following. These days, shooters are tracking them down like buried treasure. In a sea of overcomplicated pistols, the Security 6 stands out as the revolver that never quit. It's not collectible because it's rare, it's collectible because it's real. Number 4. Marlin 1895. This lever-action legend doesn't mess around. The Marlin 1895, chambered in .45-70 government, is a bruiser of a rifle built for serious hunters and backwoods defense. It kicks like a mule, but it hits harder. This isn't a weekend range toy, it's a brush gun that can stop just about anything on 4 legs. For decades, it was the go-to for big game in thick timber. Short barrel, fast follow-ups, big bore punch. But then came the Remington era, and let's be honest, it was rough. Quality dropped, reliability tanked. Longtime Marlin fans felt betrayed. Then the factory shuttered and it looked like the 1895 was done for. But Ruger stepped in and everything changed. The new 1895s are rock solid, clean machining, slick actions, and rugged laminate stocks. You've got stainless builds, threaded muzzles, and side ejection that makes optic mounting dead simple. They've kept everything that made the old ones great and tightened up the tolerances for modern shooters. Hunters love them. Collectors are snatching them up. And gun shops can't keep them in stock. The 1895 didn't just make a comeback, it came back better, tougher, and more respected than ever. Number 5. Smith & Wesson Model 19. This is the revolver that wouldn't roll over. The Smith & Wesson Model 19 isn't just some retro wheel gun, it's the sidearm that law enforcement relied on for decades. It's got presence. Chambered in .357 Magnum, it earned its respect the hard way, on patrol, in alleyways, and during real-world shootouts. This was no casual plinker, it was a serious-duty revolver with real-world grit. Back in the 1950s, Smith & Wesson teamed up with the legendary Border Patrolman Bill Jordan to create a revolver that combined magnum muscle with everyday carry comfort. The result? A K-frame revolver that was compact enough for all-day carry but built tough enough to handle heavy loads when it mattered. The Model 19 dominated police holsters for decades. But by the time 1999 rolled around, it was discontinued not because it failed, but because the industry shifted to polymer pistols. The wheel gun was set aside, not forgotten. Now, it's back. And it brings everything that made the original great, rich blued finish, classic wood grips, and that crisp, clean trigger pull. Internals have been modernized, but the revolver still feels like vintage Smith & Wesson magic, balanced, accurate, and unapologetically old school. The Model 19 is more than a revival, it's a reminder of what a real fighting revolver looks like. Number 6. Winchester Model 70. Some rifles are well liked. The Winchester Model 70 is revered. Known as the rifleman's rifle, this bolt-action legend has been delivering the goods since 1939, whether for mountain hunters or precision marksmen. Controlled round feed, buttery smooth cycling, and that iconic 3-position safety, this rifle didn't just show up, it set the standard. Then came the dark years. In 1964, Winchester tried to cut corners. Longtime fans weren't having it. Suddenly, Pre-64 became a collector's badge of honor, while post-64 models lost their shine. Winchester tried to fix things decades later, but the New Haven factory closed in 2006, and the future looked uncertain. That's when F.N. Herstal stepped in and gave the Model 70 a second life. Now built in South Carolina, the new versions feature tight tolerances, updated machining, and the same soul that made the originals famous. Hunters trust them again. Precision shooters are taking notice, and the Winchester name is back where it belongs, engraved on a bolt gun that refuses to die. This isn't a retro remake. This is the rifle that's been through hell, come back stronger, and proved it still belongs at the top. Number 7. Colt Python. The king of revolvers is back on the throne. The Colt Python, chambered in .357 Magnum, was once the crown jewel of wheel guns. Smooth double-action pull, full underlug, ventilated rib, it was art, power, and precision all in one. When Colt pulled the plug in 1999, the firearms world didn't just lose a revolver, it lost the revolver. Collectors hoarded them. Prices climbed to the stratosphere. You couldn't even whisper the name Python in a gun shop without someone telling you about the one they should have bought back in the day. Then came 2020, and boom, Colt finally brought it back. And they didn't cut corners. The modern Python is forged from stainless steel, with beefed-up internals and smoother mechanics than ever. The trigger is clean as glass. The balance? Flawless. The look? Still stops people in their tracks. This isn't a tribute. It's not a retro piece. It's the Colt Python, reborn and just as deadly accurate and drop-dead gorgeous as it ever was. Number 8. Remington 870. You don't sell over 11 million shotguns unless you're doing something right. The Remington 870 wasn't just a success, it was the pump shotgun. It hunted ducks, defended homes, and served on battlefields. From wetlands to war zones, it earned its place. But things went south. Remington cut corners. The express models started feeling cheap. The finish turned rough. Shooters noticed, and they weren't happy. Then came the bankruptcy. The 870 vanished from stores. For a while, it looked like the legend had finally fallen. But not so fast. Arms picked up the wreckage and got serious about fixing things. Enter the Fieldmaster, a return to form. Smooth action, cleaner machining, better materials. The feel of the old 870 was back. The kind of shotgun you can run hard for 20 years and still trust with your life. Quick barrel changes, endless customization, and rugged dependability, that's what this shotgun was always about. And now, with a renewed focus on quality, the Remington 870 is ready to reclaim its spot at the top. Turns out, people don't want gimmicks. They want tools that work, guns with history, performance, and staying power. These weren't just comeback stories. These were battle-tested legends re-entering the fight. Got one of these icons in your safe? Still tracking one down? Let's talk in the comments because the list might be finished, but the conversation is just getting started.